Is this a big red flag for Sephora?
They're really fucking scared.
Or maybe they're desperate.
They are laughing in our faces.
This is a class war.
Sephora will never get another dime from me.
People are saying that the Sephora x Mariah Carey ad mocks the working class.
They are definitely mocking the people.
Honestly, I get why it hit a nerve. But as a brand that left Sephora after 3 years, here's what I learned behind closed doors.
Oh, Mariah wasn't talking about the spirit of Christmas. Mariah was talking about lining her pockets.
Halloween slayed, but now it's time. Spill the tea. Who's the thief?
Busted! Bad news, Mariah Carey. The elves are striking this year. Elf revenge for putting us through holiday hell. Santa's helper quit. I'm pawning all this so I can afford elf therapy.
That's my blush, elf boy.
Your lipstick? I'm taking it. Christmas, it's canceled. No bells, no cheer, no glam. Bye, sweetie.
You can't cancel Christmas.
Any last words?
Yeah. It's time!
Can we not? Oh!
I think the irony of all this Mariah Carey discourse right now is that All I Want for Christmas Is You is like an anti-capitalism song. Like literally the first line is like, I don't want a lot for Christmas. I won't even ask for snow. Because all I want for Christmas is you.
I don't think Americans will ever catch a break. SNAP benefits are cut off. People have no food. Gas is expensive. And Sephora decides that, you know what? It's Christmas season. Meanwhile, people are busy talking about there is no Christmas, there is no Thanksgiving because we are broke. And DJT said the best thing I can do for Americans right now is to cut off their SNAP benefits. Sephora said, all you need for Christmas is materialistic stuff.
It's been 2 days since Mariah Carey and Sephora released that It's Time ad, openly mocking the working class of this country, and in just 2 days, that ad has over 100 million views and 22 million likes. At first I thought this has to be in part due to bots, has to be an artificial inflation of numbers. Because no way did corporate America, along with celebrity and multi-millionaire Mariah Carey, mock the fact that people are striking, boycotting, and generally protesting the conditions under which we are all being strangled, only to find that the masses are indeed fawning and falling at their feet in their hunger for this consumer-concentrated holiday, eager to throw the last of their pennies toward the ruling class capitalists, while simultaneously millions around us are unable to afford housing, food, education, healthcare. Consumerism, along with religion, and this holiday happens to feature both front and center, is truly the opiate of the masses. They are laughing in our faces. In the ad, Mariah mocks the elf for striking and needing therapy, accuses him of stealing from her, and then turns him into a snowman against his will. And 22 million people liked this. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Comrades, we gotta work harder. For everyone else, if you have to shop, shop local. Go to small local shops and craft fairs. There are lots of them this time of year. And do your gift shopping there. Boycott all the large stores. If you're in a more rural area, check out the local farms and farmers markets. And just keep your spending in the local economy. She really might as well have said, let them eat cake.
Oh, Mariah wasn't talking about the spirit of Christmas. Mariah was talking about lining her pockets. Baby, we had a whole story, a beginning, a middle, and end. The elf is striking at midnight. Mariah is like, what the fuck you think you're doing? She said, you can't cancel Christmas, and froze him.
So for the last 5 years, people every year anticipate the day after Halloween for Mariah Carey to do her little It's Time thing for Christmas. This year it's receiving a lot of backlash, however, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, the commercial starts out, because it is a commercial now, it's an ad. The ad starts off with her saying that Halloween slayed. No, it did not. I don't think it's a slay when people are having to hand out ramen noodles instead of candy this year, so they can ensure people are going to eat. Macaroni cups, Capri Suns, water bottles. I don't think that was a sleigh. Then we move on to the elf who is going to pawn her Sephora makeup because he cannot literally make ends meet. It sounds like Mariah Carey represents capitalism. We are the consumers and we're working rather hard this year to make ends meet. And let's not forget about the fact that she started this trend in 2020 where the economy was at its peak, and then it moved into the pandemic. And even then, the economy was doing really great. Small businesses were excelling. People were doing great. There were jobs. Everything was good. Now we're into 2025 and not so much. And then the elf says that he has to get health therapy, and that's why he's pawning her makeup. Sounds like a play on the fact that health insurance costs are going to increase this year because of the administration and everything that's going on right now. So to say the least, the ad was very insensitive. A lot of people found it very weird. And it just seems like they were saying, if nothing else, we don't care if you have to work your fingers to the bone. We don't care if you have to DoorDash, Amazon Flex, get overtime, get a second job. We don't care if you have to chop off your arm and sell it. Make sure that you buy what you have to for Christmas this year. Make sure that you are investing and you are overindulging in consumerism, because ultimately the world would not, billionaires would not make money without the little people. It's crazy because people are like, oh, little people depend on the government so much. Poor people depend on the government so much. But billionaires depend on consumers. And this is exactly the depiction of reality of consumerism versus capitalism.
You either are trying to tell us that we are slaves to capitalism and these holiday celebrations, or you're just calling us slaves and saying we're just going to do whatever because we're sheep. I'm not sure what the messaging is.
The Mariah Carey Sephora ad is a counter-marketing campaign. Now, over the past year, companies have been able to see exactly how effective boycotting can be. And with the whisper of a Christmas boycott on the horizon, you can bet your behind that Sephora and other large companies are going to try and come out ahead of this. One of the ways to try and dissuade a boycott is via counter-marketing campaigns on behalf of the companies that may be facing said boycott. Now, obviously, when people are faced with choosing healthcare, food, or luxury goods like cosmetics, they're going to be choosing healthcare and food. So, cosmetic companies would be easy targets for a boycott in the midst of a recession. Now, we also have to understand that marketing is very, very intentional. Even simple words like the and go through a multitude of passes before they even get approved to go to commercial. So everything within that commercial is highly intentional, including the elf having to steal luxury goods and pawn them to afford healthcare. The message the ad is stating is clear, that you cannot opt out of consuming for the holidays. You have to. And they leverage Mariah Carey in communicating this to us, in which she says, "Elf boy, you can't cancel Christmas." And then she shrieks and turns him into a snowman like an evil witch. And this is an interesting choice in a counter-marketing campaign. Usually, when a recession is on the horizon, counter-marketing might look something like, "Don't boycott us, we'll give you extra discounts so that you can afford our products even when economically strapped." Or it might say things like, "We're going to donate XYZ amount of dollars to food banks," and things like that. Sephora saying, "F you scrub, get good," is a fascinating approach, especially when you consider the history of makeup and luxury cosmetics, because luxury cosmetics is one of the few luxuries of the working class that will be kept even in the middle of a depression. Depressions usually signal a huge economic boom for cosmetics. So they're taking what should be a slam dunk and just throwing it in the garbage by saying F you to all of their working class consumers, especially by providing a working class caricature within the elf. It's maybe I'll do a longer video on it, but yeah, it's fascinating watching this choice from the Sephora marketing department.
What is angering people is the fact that Mariah Carey herself sang a song that says, "All I want for Christmas is you." Why? This is a song that spoke to everyone. This is a song that compelled a message of, you know what? You don't have to have a Bentley. You don't have to have a Tesla. You don't have to go to the most expensive brunch. You don't have to go to that expensive holiday. Just love and companionship that's going to make you comfortable. That is what is needed for Christmas. The same person has taken the meaning of the song to another level. Now it's all about, I know, Elf, you want to rob me because, like, y'all got nothing to eat this Christmas, yeah? At least rob me and go and buy some makeup.
I hate when people are like, oh, it's just not that serious. No, you actually just don't have the critical thinking skills to understand why something might be important, even though it's subtle. So now that we're on the topic, let's really talk about Mariah Carey's Sephora ad, because literally, what the fuck was that? Firstly, I want to point out that All I Want for Christmas Is You is actually quite literally not about materials. It's about literally just wanting to spend time with the people or the person that you care about the most. It has nothing to do with wanting materials. Yet somehow this ad does the exact opposite. And it's a dig at consumers for boycotting all these corporations. I don't understand why they needed to do that. And as someone that works in marketing, I'm actually genuinely confused on how many meetings this was able to make it through. And I think it's really just rage bait, the same way that American Eagle did it with the Sydney Sweeney ad. I think it's really fucking weird. Like, I understand in the social media world that rage baiting works, and I definitely expect that from people online. But the fact that big corporations are doing this is so ridiculous. Like, having Mariah Carey kind of dressed up as an angel and then having the elf be like the thief. This is a class war, and it's right in front of us. And y'all are on here coming back talking about, oh, y'all are just too woke. Y'all just consume shit, and that's really the problem. You guys having no thoughts and no opinions and being all la-di-da is like literally exactly why we're in the situation of our nation right now. But it's not that serious. It's everywhere. And all the content that has been coming out, it is shifting. It is shifting in a bad, horrible way. And they had the elf be like, oh yeah, I'm going to take all that. Not only did he steal all the stuff, but he's going to take it and pawn it so he can afford health therapy. This fucking play is about us. Yeah, it's fully about us. And y'all just sit up and say, it's not that deep. It's not that serious. Like, they're not trying to do all that, whatever, da-da-da-da-da. I feel like y'all discredit how smart these people actually are, how smart these corporations are. They know exactly what they're doing, but you'll just sit up and consume and be like, la-di-da, and nothing matters. And that's exactly why we're in the predicament we're in today. With the state of our nation, it's because people think it's not that deep.
I think the irony of all this Mariah Carey discourse right now is that All I Want for Christmas Is You is like an anti-capitalism song. Like, literally the first line is like, I don't want a lot for Christmas. I won't even ask for snow. Because all I want for Christmas is you. Like, Mariah Carey herself is saying, like, Christmas is not about buying stuff. Christmas is not about Sephora. Christmas is not about putting the elves to work. Christmas is about spending time with the person that you love the most. But that's like what capitalism does, is it takes something that you love, something that has deep meaning. Like, Mariah Carey is an amazing songwriter. Everything that she writes is so intentional. When she says all I want for Christmas is you, she means that she doesn't need any toys. She doesn't need any consumerist capitalist thing. She doesn't need to buy anything. She just wants love. She wants connection. But then you have a company use this song to somehow, because it has an emotional connection, they strip it of its meaning so that they can, like, sell literal makeup. And for people who are like, well, why can't we just enjoy things? Like, is that working out for you? Is it? Are you able to buy everything that you want for all of your friends and all of your family this year? Or are you having to pick and choose? Are you having to go without? The fact that we are now seeing All I Want for Christmas Is You, Sephora, is crazy. Just go back to the original meaning of the song, the original intent. That is what Christmas is about. Christmas is about sharing love and tidings of good cheer. And side note, I went to Sephora like 3 weeks ago because I needed to get like one moisturizer. And this older woman helped me, but she pulled me aside because there were these 8-year-olds screaming at her to help them. And the parents were not doing anything about these 8-year-old girls screaming about product. The parents were like, why can't you find it? Why can't you find it? And this older woman like pulled me aside and was like, this is what it's like every day. Every day, 8-year-olds come to the store and want to buy face products. And their parents are angry that this woman had like a PhD in chemistry. She was like, I do not want to sell children retinol. So yeah, we just need to pack it up. Like,
not the queen of Christmas making fun of poor people, Mariah Carey and popular makeup corporation Sephora have been receiving some major backlash. I bet J-Lo's happy. The backlash has been so bad, Sephora actually turned off their comments. Now, this all started with a holiday commercial that featured Mariah Carey catching an elf stealing her makeup. And when confronted, the elf responded that he would be pawning the items that he stole so he could pay for therapy, and that he's going on strike for being put through holiday hell. hell. I am usually the first one to laugh at my pain, but this hit a little bit too close to home for many people. What happened to All I Want for Christmas Is You? An unmaterialistic song turned materialistic. Some commentators are stating that people are just too woke, while others are stating that it was distasteful and insensitive. I couldn't agree more. This is what happens when you have a bunch of rich, old people trying to be relatable to the working class. This train wreck of a production poked fun at the fact that people were overworked, how people are protesting, and even had the gall to mention how people cannot afford to manage their mental health. No one thought this was funny except the rich. So unless the 1% is going to pay all of Sephora's bills, they better come correct. And they can start by slashing those prices at least 80% off, since we all are just too poor to even afford food, let alone makeup. You're welcome, I love ya.
Sephora just made such a bad mistake. Oh my god, so they made a commercial with Mariah Carey, and it's basically like they're making fun of everybody boycotting. They're like, Christmas is canceled because of the losers. I can't believe that passed through all of the like different layers to go to commercial, because if anybody knows anything, like Max Factor was made during the Great Depression. Makeup is one of those things that like during a Great Depression, like it can pop off and you can really have that one thing, the only thing that makes somebody feel good about themselves, and it's a red lipstick, so they're gonna buy it. Not at Sephora. No. I think, you know what we need to do, babies, especially us millennials? We need to bring back the hipster indie makeup brand. This year, why don't you go shop at Sugar Pill, Trixie Mattel Cosmetics? Literally, we're bringing back the independent makeup brand, because I will never be stepping foot in Sephora again. I haven't been in a Sephora in like at least a year. The last time I was there was when I was getting married and I was picking out new makeup. I didn't buy anything from Sephora though. Babes, your foundation's like $80. Your foundation is the same price as Lyra Clinical's foundation that is mostly like high quality ingredients. And you made that commercial? You really think that we don't have Ulta or literally anywhere else? I want Sephora to become Toys R Us. The Toys R Usification of Sephora is about to happen.
This is a long one, not a short one. So baby, buckle up. This is essentially a 7-section breakdown of this ad. I needed to break it down into 7 sections to understand all of the things I was feeling while watching it. So with that said, let's roll the clip.
Halloween slate, but now it's spill the tea.
Part 1, product placement. So they start off by focusing on the table where there are products placed, all luxury items. I saw YSL, and I might or might not have seen some Jimmy Choo. Whatever the case, at this time in this economy where people are fighting between food and healthcare, little bit out of touch, don't you say? Section 2, the theft.
Spill the tea. Who's the thief? Busted.
The elf immediately being identified as the thief just didn't sit right with me, because why is the hell, pun intended, the first person you look at when something is missing? Classist much? But this isn't even the worst part. This is just where the ick starts. And from here, we're going to dive right into section 3, the script.
Bad news, Mariah Carey. The elves are striking this year. Elf revenge for putting us through holiday hell.
It was eerie to me and starting to get a little cringe when he began with, "We're going on strike because of the way you treated us last year." I don't know about you, but the American people have been treated pretty badly this past year. So it feels like there's a direct correlation to current times in this dialogue. Now let's dive into section 4, intentional marketing.
Santa's helper quit. I'm pawning all this so I can afford elf therapy.
That's my blush, elf boy.
Your lipstick? I'm taking.
He's resorting to stealing so he can afford health care. And that doesn't feel coincidental or like a mistake. As we very well know, marketing is an intentional business. You want to build something that resonates with the masses and the general public, something that attracts all kinds of age groups, especially in a commercial where it's Mariah Carey. And the message that I received from those few lines is that he works for an employer who lives in a gigantic mansion, who doesn't pay a livable wage, and also does not want to provide health care. Does that sound familiar? And maybe I am big tripping, but this feels like corporations are spitting in our face and calling it rain. Our government is currently in a shutdown that began well before this ad was released, currently fighting between food stamps, SNAP benefits, EBT, and healthcare. And you guys didn't take a second to think, hey, maybe this messaging is problematic for what we're sending out there right now. Maybe this is not the right time to have this messaging. Maybe. And one of my biggest issues as a whole regarding part 4 is that the people in the rooms that are creating these marketing campaigns are so out of touch that they didn't even think there was a problem with this ad. Or they did it on purpose. They wanted us to see it. Let's go on ahead and dive into part 5. Christmas is canceled. Roll the clip.
Christmas is canceled. No bells, no cheer, no glam. Bye, sweetie.
I'm very self-aware, so I always try to keep in mind that there isn't a perpetual boogeyman chasing me. But this messaging just felt off. So my first instinct is to feel mocked because everybody's aware that a lot of us are planning to do a blackout boycott for Thanksgiving weekend and possibly the rest of the holidays. So this feels like, yeah, I'm going on strike. Ha ha ha. What? Based on your script, they are on strike because of mistreatment, low wages, and no health care. This isn't funny. It feels like corporate America is literally just like, haha. And while she is saying all of this to the elf from the comfort of her mansion, let's dive into part 6. You can't cancel Christmas.
You can't cancel Christmas.
Any last words?
And this is where I continue to think that they're laughing in our faces because what do you mean I can't cancel Christmas? And the entitlement that it's coming from. Again, messaging. We are trying to cancel Christmas because of all the vile things that corporations are doing and the vile things that our representatives are doing against us. And y'all think it's cool to make fun of the fact that we plan to boycott the holidays? It's almost like you're calling our bluff. Newsflash, it's not a bluff. As we step into the last and final section, please soak in the next clip because it has so many layers.
Last words?
Yeah.
I felt so fucking crazy watching this the first time. Like I watched it maybe 10, 15 times because I couldn't shake off the feeling. You mean to tell me that in a room full of people, you thought it was a good idea to turn the working elf, who is clearly not being paid a livable wage, who is clearly not able to access health care, you turned him into a snowman against his will so you could force him to work through the holidays? What? I don't know. I might be mistaken, but isn't that what's happening to federal employees right now? They're being forced to work against their will without being paid. Corporate America, what's going on? And I'm really trying to decipher what the actual message is here, because if it's coming from me, you You either are trying to tell us that we are slaves to capitalism and these holiday celebrations, or you're just calling us slaves and saying we're just going to do whatever